Welcome back. The House's version of the National Defense Authorization Act would create a new national cyber director role. The director would have budget certification authority and advise the president on cybersecurity matters. Suzanne Spaulding, senior advisor of Homeland Security, the Center for Strategic and International Studies. She's former undersecretary for the National Protection and Programs Directorate, now CISA, at the Department of Homeland Security. Suzanne, welcome. Thanks for coming on. It's great to have you back. You took some questions at this hearing that I have been asking on this program, and it's great to have an opportunity to discuss them with you. One of them was, what would the new authorities that the Cyber Solarium Commission would like to see this cyber director have?
Yeah, Francis, thanks for having me back. It's great to be back, and particularly to talk about this important subject. You know, I should start by noting that the commission did not start with thinking about the organization to accomplish the cyber strategy, but started instead with what does that strategy look like, right? So we started, in fact, our first several meetings, we're talking about the concept of deterrence. And then we talked a lot about norms. We talked a lot about our cyber ecosystem and how we preserve the continuity of the economy and how do we strengthen resilience and ultimately our ability where needed to use our military power. And in having those conversations, it became very clear that we really need to have a robust, widespread, whole of nation response to the cyber threat and cyber risks and cyber challenge. And so that very quickly, when we did then think about how do we organize to accomplish this, make it clear that you could never pull all the activities into one cyber department. It is inevitably a distributed activity and therefore requires strong coordination of this broad-based effort. So that's a key authority for this National Cyber Director, the ability to convene the interagency, to drive the development of a cohesive strategy, whole of nation strategy, and ensure its implementation. Not just ensure its implementation by beating on people, but by making sure that you have equipped departments and agencies with what they need to get the mission done, and that you are able to resolve conflicts as they arise.
When the National Security Advisor, former now National Security Advisor John Bolton, eliminated the White House Cybersecurity Advisor job, the justification he gave at the time was we already have people that are doing these jobs other places in government. This role would be potentially larger, more people underneath this person, bigger budget. Why is it necessary? Why aren't the people that are doing those jobs, according to the former National Security Advisor, why isn't that the right construct for providing this information to the president?
Yeah, well, again, let me start by saying I think each department and agency should have primary responsibility for accomplishing their mission. And the National Cyber Director should only do those things that only a National Cyber Director can do, and not reach in and grab mission space from departments and agencies. There's a particular concern about how this person relates to CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, which is what the organization that I led at DHS is now called, because they have an important interagency and coordination role, right? So the National Cyber Director needs to make sure that they are empowering CISA to accomplish that role. But at the end of the day, it is very hard for any one department or agency to kind of direct other departments and agencies. It's been tried over the years and it's never been particularly successful. Really, this is a task for the White House. And because it is such an enormous challenge and task involving every department and agency and the private sector and state and local and territorial and tribal governments, a handful of people at the White House is not going to accomplish what needs to be done.
The line of delineation in the past has always been pretty clear between civilian and military. Should this person, if this job is created, also have some oversight and coordination role with Cyber Command, with DISA, with the Chief Information Officer in the Pentagon, or should that line of delineation kind of stay the way that it's historically been, Suzanne?
So I think it's what we have said is that this National Cyber Director should be focused on defensive activities Now, that will sometimes include some of those entities that you've just listed because they also have defensive operational activity. But again, this person is not to replace the Secretary of Defense or the DNI or any of the other cabinet secretaries for that matter, but to coordinate those activities. So while this person is focused on defensive activities, defensive planning and operations, they have to be at the table for conversations that might happen around offensive activity, for example, because those must be coordinated. And so there can't be a bright line that says the National Cyber Director only does defensive activities. They have to be part of the coordination, and that means they have to be in the loop. They have to have access to that information, sensitive as it may be.
Suzanne, we have about 30 seconds left. Is what you'll watch as simple as, does Congress create this position or not, or is there more to it than that?
At the end of the day, we need Congress to create this position. It's a Senate confirmed position. It would be appointed by the president, but confirmed by the Senate. And we've had some significant success so far in Congress with respect to the Solarium recommendations. We've got almost a dozen that are in both the House and Senate Defense Authorization Act. We've got another dozen or so in the House and a handful more in the Senate. And as they go to conference, we're hoping to get most of those through. This is one that will require the support of Congress in the National Defense Authorization Act. And frankly, the White House is not wild about it. The White House never likes to be told how to organize themselves. And so it'll be a bit of a heavy lift, but we have it in the House bill and a placeholder in the Senate. So we're hoping to get this through.
Suzanne, thanks very much for coming on. It's great to have you back.
Thank you. Great to be back.